Elon's done a really good job lately of paying attention to this issue. Months ago, we were covering the fact that he was, doing his exclamation point tweet, response to people, which, it's not him saying anything. He's just calling attention to it with this massive, massive magnifying glass that he has. And he's been indicating that more and more this is concerning him. And so the fact that he's going down there right now is so important, because of course we see so many of our elected officials in high-powered, right up all the way through the presidency, they just can't even be bothered with the whole thing. And in the past month, Eagle Pass is averaging around 2,000 illegal crossings per day.
That's a lot.
And that's one location, right?
One location. It has been the hotspot pretty much for the entire Biden border crisis. But recently it's gotten even worse. It was bad every day, all day. But recently we hit a day record, a single day record, which was about 2,200, and 2 days later it was 4,000. And so it's getting worse and worse.
I've heard that because of South America has the summer and our winter, that the springtime come March and April is going to be when it tends to bump up the most. And if we're getting 2,000 people a day or 3,000 people a day at one of the high volume border crossings, come March, it's going to be insane. Without some kind of change in policy.
Just in time for the election.
I mean, I don't want...
You think Biden would be doing everything in his power right now to put a stop to this because it's just in time for the election? I don't know. That's why I'm like, do they want to lose running Joe Biden and a border crisis? Because immigration's a huge issue. When you have people in New York City protesting AOC over immigration, y'all Democrats are in trouble.
Yeah, they're screaming at the buses. They're yelling at everybody, telling them to go home. New York City, actually, today I saw a flyer that they put out that's from the city of New York saying, go somewhere else. You're not going to be housed here. This is a very expensive city. You will be better off somewhere else. The city is doing that, Democrats.
And this comes, of course, only a couple of weeks after Eric Adams said they're destroying the city.
Which they are.
They are.
It's turning into a nightmare. Yeah,
absolutely. And you're watching these liberals that have been, crowing about the city being a sanctuary city, and across the country they've been doing this. Well, they're getting a taste of their own medicine. I'll be perfectly honest. I wasn't a fan of the busing stunt that Texas launched last year. I thought it was basically just them participating in the redistribution of illegals. And we know for a fact that the amount that are in New York City, for instance, it's only about 10% were bused there by Texas. The other 90% are coming in of their own accord, being brought in by NGOs, being brought in by the Biden administration, maybe even flying in, we're learning now, straight to JFK. So it's only about 10%, but it's been quite effective, and it has really highlighted the hypocrisy.
The defense of the busing the people from the border to Texas was, well, he can't deport them anyway. And I'm just like, my attitude is kind of, look, man, if you have to choose between sending a bus to New York and just returning them to Mexico in violation of, I don't know, federal law or whatever, I'd go with like, hey man, they entered illegally. We're going to send them right back. And then let Mexico send a communication over how we deal with this. But if these people have already illegally entered Mexico or they are Mexican citizens, then I don't see what the argument is for some kind of, like, I don't even think it's a law. I think it's some kind of treaty or something, or like international relations must be held by the federal government. And so what happens is they come in and Texas is like, well, we can't do anything. The federal government won't let us. So they put them on a bus and they send them to New York. I like some of it, right? It created a shock to the system. It created press, but I think you're right. If they didn't do this at all, imagine if Texas, Florida, and whatever, Arizona, whichever other states were doing it, never did. Mm-hmm. They'd still have a migrant crisis in New York City. They'd still be saying the same things, only now they have a scapegoat. Now they can say it's Republicans that are doing it on purpose.
Right, that's interesting. And then you also had DeSantis sending people to Martha's Vineyard, which was sort of an amazing stunt, I thought.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That was good.
That was very clever.
Sending a small handful of people to a sanctuary city that has the means to support them, I think was better for the people. The migrants themselves got one of the best deals ever. You're going to Martha's Vineyard, baby.
Right?
I've never even been there.
Pretty nice.
And then it made the people at The View and all these other liberals lose their minds in panic.
The more you can make people that have the luxury opinion of open borders, the more you can make them feel the repercussions from that, the better.